Hello, this is my quarterly summary for the ZON 100 course. And if you keep seeing me looking that way, it's because I have the questions loaded over here. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? Sure. My name is Bande. I'm a third year biomedical science program student at Toronto Metropolitan University. And I'm also the founder of a nonprofit called Spectra Education, which provides STEM education to children in marginalized communities. That's sort of our main basis. All right, what project did you pursue in this course, and where was it at the beginning of the semester, and where is it now? So the project that I decided to pursue was Spectra Education, specifically the development of Spectra Education. And in terms of where was it in the beginning and where was it, or where is it now, to get into that, I can talk a bit about the goals that I had set in the beginning, as opposed to what we've sort of achieved at the present moment. At the beginning, the goals looked a bit different. So primarily, my main goal was to develop a more engaging curriculum for the workshops that we hold, through the help of my peers and other facilities and resources that were provided by the course. And the second goal was to develop the Uganda pilot program, which was sort of in its baby steps, its initial steps at the beginning of the semester, a lot different from what it is now. So now it's the first goal had switched a little bit because we were able to establish a more engaging curriculum quite quickly based on the metrics that we were able to accumulate from our previous workshops. We the team as a whole hired different educators from different backgrounds, some in STEM, some not in STEM, that were able to develop more engaging curriculum. So this was a goal that we were able to establish quite soon in the semester. And so the sort of focus switched more towards developing the Uganda pilot program, which we did, and other streams for handling a nonprofit, like securing funding and synthesizing collaborations and partnerships with other organizations. So that sort of became our main focus as we went along the semester. How was the journey like, and did you feel supported? The journey was, I would say, challenging, to say the least, because it was not easy juggling between academic responsibilities and this organization, because it does take a lot to run the organization, even though I had a lot of people helping me out. But still, it does take a lot, I would say. So that was definitely difficult, but this course definitely helped because it sort of forced me to take some time out of my day to focus solely on the organization. 2-3 hours during a week just for the organization. Otherwise, it would have been a bit difficult. I would have probably negated it or just kept it to the side. But because I had assignments or whatever due for this course, the bi-weekly summaries, the monthly summaries, I wanted to show something of promise, and so that sort of motivated me to continue working to developing the organization. Oh, and did you feel supported? I definitely feel supported for sure, from my team and from the instructors and from my peers in Zone 100, right? It was not something like distant. I got so much great feedback from different people, Star, Joseph. These people really helped me, in terms of direction, for one, what should we sort of do, and then just general tips of running a nonprofit or an organization in general as well, right? So it was great to see that the groups that we were put in, we had a lot in common. And so that was great. I know that was by design, and it was a great design because that really helped me out a lot, right? I got references from Star, people that I could reach out to when I needed help with, let's say, funding or partnerships, things like that. What did you learn from your end users? So I would say in Ontario, a bit different from what I learned in Uganda, but in Ontario, I primarily learned that the reason that I started was affirmed by the workshops, that a hands-on sort of way of approaching STEM was necessary, especially for marginalized youth, because if you think about it, a lot of these kids didn't really have parents that could afford to put them in camps, so they didn't have that extra sort of support for engaging in STEM, right? That was never the case. It was only the exposure that they had in school, and it was limited to just that. Whereas other children were able to, they had extracurricular opportunities, camps, and other things that helped them sort of consolidate the learning. But this was not the case for a lot of the children that we worked with in certain neighborhoods, right? So the one thing that we learned from both parents and children was that this was a necessity more than just a sort of, an addition to what they're learning in school. Because children were now getting more engaged in STEM, and parents were more satisfied by the performance that their children were giving, right? So this feedback we got from our users in Uganda, or sorry, in Ontario. I have to speed it up because I only have like 30 seconds left. How many questions? There's many questions. I'll speed through the other questions. Okay, what did I learn about myself? I learned that I'm definitely adaptable under pressure, that I'm able to come across certain challenges and figure out solutions, although it does definitely take time and a lot of thinking. It does eventually come. So I felt like that was great. And one sort of negative thing that I learned was that I'm very selective about things. Something that I really should work towards, maybe fixing or alleviating at least, because getting fixed on one thing or having a vision of it to being exactly that way doesn't always work out. So you need to be a bit more sort of a bit more like water in that sense, like just sort of going through with the flow. How did you advance in your field or industry? We integrated these localized solutions into through Spectrum, right? This integration of adaptive learning, or sorry, engaging learning, interactive learning of STEM. What are the next steps for you and your project? Next steps are definitely for securing funding so that we can broaden our reach and securing more partnerships with other organizations that can help us reach a greater scale of audience. And knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to yourself at the start? I would say make more realistic timelines and don't be so worried about what's going to happen next, but just go through with it, try something out, because eventually, even if it does fail, you'll still learn something. Finally, what are your takeaways from this course and what was the value of it? This course definitely taught me about something in relation to reflective practice, reflecting upon what it is that we're doing. All right. How many questions are there? Because I'm going way over time. Adapting. Right. So like I said about reflective practice, it helped me to think about Spectra's growth in a different sense, in a different manner. How is it that I can adapt differently to other things, right? And how can I change things to better accumulate or better fit into things? Like I said, I could have continued working on a more engaging curriculum, but I felt that was not necessary anymore. So we shift focus, and this was something that was something that I definitely learned. And also the power of connections, because networking and connections, the friends that I made, the peers that I conversed with within this course definitely helped. It was a great step forward. So this was something that I didn't really consider as to be that big of a deal for running something or running an organization, but it definitely is a big and major part. And what was the value of it? Yeah, so the value of it was, it helped to create a more balanced version of the organization. It wasn't always just, you know, just do this, do that. It was a much more balanced sense. Like we were getting results through these connections that we weren't expecting previously, right? So it gives you a more tailored way of achieving things. So as to say, I've gone a lot over time. You can deduct marks, whatever, but I just wanted to say thank you to all the instructors, whoever's grading this, whoever's watching this. Thank you to all the TAs, to Nagin, and to everyone that sort of facilitated the building of this program, because it was a great way to learn about myself and learn about the organization and to progress it in a way that would have definitely not been possible in the last 4 months if I hadn't taken this course. So thank you very much, and bye-bye.